We love when a movie goes direct to streaming. This week, it's Matt Damon and Casey Affleck in Apple TV Plus's new Doug Liman action comedy, The Instigators. This is Boy Party. Hello and welcome to Boy Party, the podcast about movies where two major stars share the screen and battle it out for first billing, the most acclaim, the fattest paycheck, etc., etc. In some cases, having your film released theatrically at all. This week, I'm Lucian, and I'm joined by Shane. My collaborator in a harebrained scheme that Michael Stuhlbarg has sent us off on that probably won't go very well. Our third partner,
third guy who's going to shoot the mayor,
is already gone from the picture. This week we're discussing The Instigators, a film that everyone is buzzing about. It is the talk of the town. People are instigators crazy.
Yeah, like having seen this, it's weird because we enjoyed it, but we find it incredibly difficult to think of a quote, to think of a joke, of what the characters are like, to even probably describe the motives to a certain point. But
maybe this is like the perfect 3-star movie. I don't know. Maybe you don't need to do any of those things.
Yeah,
it's nice when a film is quotable, but if you have a good time and you don't remember anything afterwards, that's value in it.
Yeah, like its lack of internet presence is due to the fact that there's nothing internet worthy in it.
There's nothing internet worthy in it. There's nothing that anyone could latch onto bar the cast itself,
which is
in the trailer. Like there's nothing in the movie that is interesting for social media that isn't just in the trailer,
Yeah.
And you may find that in the coming 40 minutes or so, we struggle to talk about the plot of this film. And perhaps we only talk about the actors in the film and nothing else. But we'll try our best. It doesn't help that there's no plot synopsis on Wikipedia yet. Like, we're going to have to do this one.
We'll do the entry live on the podcast.
The which?
We'll do the Wikipedia entry live on the podcast.
We'll type it out.
We'll type it out.
It won't let me. So the Instigators is the new motion picture from Doug Liman. Doug Liman's last movie was released 4 or 5 months ago. I think Roadhouse came out in March. 2 movies in 1 year from the big man, DL. Roadhouse came out March 21st, and he's already got another film out. Doug Liman is, a guy with not as many films as you'd expect, because it feels like he's always got something coming out. But really, he's only got about 12 or 13 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Swingers, Go. These are his big 90s breakout indie films. And then he does The Bourne Identity with Mr. Damon. Which is a huge hit. And then the franchise proceeds to be handed over to Paul Greengrass, who makes the next 3.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, 2005, a massive movie and a massive boy party, which was undeniably one of the biggest action films of the 2000s, despite being a piece of shit in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it.
2008, he does Jumper, a film I've done podcasts about in the past. Ill-fated, good premise, sci-fi movie. Hayden Christensen can teleport from one location to the other.
It sounds like a second.
Well, it's teleportation.
Okay.
He basically just jumps. He can jump and he'll land in the pyramids. He'll land in the Eiffel Tower. The posters are just him standing on all of these.
That's pretty cool. I wish I could do that.
That movie is 88 minutes long, which suggests that it was a functional production.
Very much so.
2010, he directs this movie Fair Game, which with Naomi Watts and Sean Penn, which is just like a true story DC thriller. Very boring. Watched it earlier this year. 2014, Edge of Tomorrow.
Banger.
His most well-liked movie, probably. Mm-hmm. A banger. I'm not as big a fan of it as you or as the general populace, but it is like a success. It is a smooth production. It turns out really well. Everyone's happy with it. Doesn't make a lot of money, but has more than compensated for that in subsequent
just acclaim
and adoration. Bit of a Mad Max Fury Road situation there, where they would make a sequel to this. They will, and they are saying they're going to make a sequel to this as soon as the stars align, because it is so well liked. And really,
I think the thing is with Edge of Tomorrow, there's an awful lot of stuff like this that is just complete trash.
Yeah, I think it came out at an unfortunate moment for Cruise, where he had just been in 2 to 5 terrible films in a row.
Yeah,
Rock of Ages, Jack Reacher, and Oblivion.
Yes.
So his stock was very low.
Yeah, like in my head, I kind of pair this with Oblivion as kind of a certain...
Yeah, his stock was very low in 2014. If you put Edge of Tomorrow out right now, post Maverick and the good missions, you
making 500 million.
It would be making a lot more money. Yeah, I think, and Emily Blunt, I think it would do really, really well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the issue with that movie, people seem to think, is the title. I've never felt that way. I mean, it got changed from All You Need Is Kill to Edge of Tomorrow to Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. And now if you look for it on streaming, I think it mostly just comes up as Live, Die, Repeat.
Which is odd.
I think Live, Die, Repeat is like the worst of those titles.
It's Live, Laugh, Love.
I think that Edge of Tomorrow is a perfectly serviceable title that I have no issue with. I just think there was too many movies in the mid-2000s, 2010s with those two words in the title, maybe.
Edge and Tomorrow.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of Tomorrows and a lot of Edges. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't want to.
I don't know. I think Edge of Tomorrow is a perfectly functional, perfectly acceptable name given the premise of the film. And he is constantly on the edge of tomorrow.
He is. In 2017, Liman does two movies. He does The Wall with Aaron Taylor Johnson stuck behind a wall in Iraq. I ain't watching that. And then he does American Made with Cruise, which is probably the most boring film Cruise has made since Oblivion.
He had a batter on there for a while.
It's just not very good. And then in 2021, he does... Yeah, that was the... Sorry. And American Made comes out 3 months after The Mummy. Anyway, it's not a Cruise episode. But 2021, he also does two movies, both insanely non-existent. He does Locked Down, the COVID heist movie with Anne Hathaway, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Ben Stiller, which is rubbish. A really, really terrible film. And then he does a movie I've never seen with Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley, a boy party called Chaos Walking, a YA sci-fi adaptation that was I think was in a vault for like 4 or 5 years and completely bombs. Come out during COVID. And now he's this year, Roadhouse and the Instigators. So we're really looking here at a guy who kind of needs 2 hits in a row to get something made. And Roadhouse was a success because... Really? It was released in the right way. It's a blokey, stupid, macho film released on Amazon Prime, pushed the MMA audience perfect.
Like, to the business people, Roadhouse outperformed the Instigators by a long way.
Absolutely. Instant success. There were people watching Roadhouse on my flight last week. It is a film with pretty good awareness, the opposite of the Instigators. Mm-hmm. The Instigators, on paper, quite an appealing premise, somehow is being released to just crickets. And it is just an unfortunate, it just slightly falls between the cracks of a couple of types of movie that people are interested in. It's not quite macho aggressive enough for the Roadhouse people. It's not quite Soderbergh-y, cool, sexy enough for the
it's not a full-on heist film.
No, it's the sort of like, and it's sort of somewhere between the Ben Affleck stuff that Ben Affleck directs, like The Town, and the Soderbergh Oceansy stuff that these guys have been in before, and the Doug Liman Roadhouse stuff. And therefore...
And it doesn't get sentimental enough with the kind of...
No.
I need to see my son sort of stuff to be that kind of...
So the target audience for it is kind of just Boston people and us.
It's people who like hanging out with these guys.
People who like hanging out with these guys and people who like the... Basically... 10 or 11 top billed actors in this film, all of whom are people I would classify to some degree as my guys.
Yeah.
We're talking Matt Damon, Casey Affleck, Chau, Michael Stuhlbarg, Paul Walter Hauser, Ving Rhames, Alfred Molina, Toby Jones, make an exception for Jack Harlow, and Ron Perlman. Great cast. Phenomenal. One of the best casts of the year by far. Maybe the best cast of the year. If you put all of these guys in a film by a super, super reliable filmmaker, I would be bouncing off the walls with anticipation. In the case of this film, I saw the trailer. I went, we'll do it on the Boy Party. This is just interesting enough to do on Boy Party. And my feeling after seeing it is just good enough to be arsed to doing on Boy Party. But we were kind of stuck doing it anyway.
This film does successfully do well by each of the actors in it.
I think for the most part. Yeah, they get moments.
They're given enough, like... not stupidity, but like they're given big enough characters that it's like
goofy moments.
It justifies their appearance in it for the most part.
And I think Casey Affleck is somebody who can often his very like mumbly muttery, I'm so tired, I'm such a sneaky little rat man thing can be very misused, and he can fade into the background of the film. And I think that this keeps him awake and alert and like engaged with the audience in a way that demonstrates a director who knows how to direct Casey Affleck.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that Matt Damon Well, Casey Affleck himself has directed, but I imagine that Matt Damon
probably gives him a bit of a kick up the ass.
Yeah, gives him a kick up the ass, of the two of them being buddies probably helps. It is funny that only one of these men has an Oscar for acting. Yeah. And it is not Matt Damon. It was written by a guy called Chuck McLean, who is the creator of the TV show City on a Hill, the Kevin Bacon, Anthony Mackie show. Chuck McLean was I think sacked from that show for after a internal investigation into misconduct in the workplace. And of course, he's not the only person in this film with misconduct history. Mr. Affleck, of course, had a bit of a troublesome spot there 15 years ago. The production of I'm Not There, which he directed with Joaquin Phoenix, which I watched yesterday. A number of women sort of came forward after that with various things. And it kind of didn't make a big song and dance until he was campaigning to win his Oscar in 2017. And then suddenly it became quite a big story. Managed to win his Oscar. I feel like he squeaked through the door before the Me Too stuff exploded. He is truly the last actor who will ever win an Oscar in the middle of a public examination of his history of misconduct. Like, that will never happen again.
Yeah.
He's the last person who was able to get away with that. I think he knows how lucky he is to have gotten away with that. And
is this pre kind of expansion of the jury / academy?
Not really.
Is it then they kind of dulled with there recently?
So white stuff kind of happens in the 2 to 3 years leading up to that.
Oh, that was before.
This is the year Moonlight wins Best Picture.
Yeah.
So this is, in theory, the woke, young, diverse Academy voting.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately people did just decide his performance in that film was kind of next level and deserved the Oscar. I think a mediocre actor giving a mediocre performance wouldn't have survived the sort of Casey Affleck allegation stuff that was going on. I think that people were like not quite fully engaged yet with the idea that we shouldn't reward people for this behavior. I think that became a much bigger thing in the following year or two as the Weinstein, Kevin Spacey stuff started to really explode. And keep in mind, this Oscars is the last Oscars that Harvey Weinstein ever had movies in. This is the year that he had Lion nominated, and that is the last Weinstein movie that was ever in the Oscars. He's gone from the industry after this. So Casey Affleck really feels like somebody who knows, I think, that he just got away with this. He didn't go to the Oscars the following year to present Best Actress. I think he could tell. He read the room. The vibes were not there for him to be showing up, being, people in the audience sitting on their hands, refusing to applaud him or whatever, because Brie Larson had already been kind of awkward with him on stage presenting him with his award. So things were getting awkward already. So he doesn't go to the Oscars the following year, and then has just kind of kept his head down since, and has really only worked with his buddies and a couple of random things to pay the bills. So he does David Lowery's A Ghost Story the year after, and then David Lowery's The Old Man and the Gun in 2018. I think he's great in The Old Man and the Gun. Great movie. This is the Robert Redford plays an old bank robber, and Casey Affleck in this kind of weird supporting role where he's basically just chasing him around. Funnily enough,
a film I also watched on an airplane to Los Angeles, which is quite funny.
That is fun,
considering your travels to the west coast of the US in the last week.
The funny thing is that the Mule comes out the same year as The Old Man and the Gun, and in the Mule, Bradley Cooper does the exact same thing as Casey Affleck, where he's in this weird supporting role as the guy who's chasing after Clint Eastwood. It's funny that him and Affleck did this simultaneous we'll be in the old man retirement movie as the young guy who's sort of his side. And then Casey Affleck has basically made 6 or 7 movies that do not exist since then. Light of My Life, Our Friend, The World to Come, Every Breath You Take, Dreaming Wild. None of those
all
exist.
Terrible titles.
Terrible titles. Non-existent movies. The next film after his Oscar that exists is Oppenheimer, which he shows up in for
5 minutes,
3 minutes,
3
maybe.
minutes.
Fantastic performance. He's great. He plays General Boris Pash. He's slowly revealed, and it leans into his creepiness.
It does.
And it's odd, but it's a role where kind of I kind of want a guy with weird pub personal history playing this role. Like, I want a guy who's got like weird.
Because you have such a short time to.
Yeah, you have to establish in 30 seconds that this guy is fucking creepy and scary.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, Casey Affleck played creepy and scary.
It pans from him, and he's just kind of smiling.
Yeah. It starts in the back of his head.
It does. Yeah.
Casey Affleck, the only famous person in Oppenheimer that I fully never clocked had been cast. Gonna be in,
yeah.
And I knew everyone else. I was like, oh, I knew Matthew Modine, I knew Josh Peck.
Did they keep it quiet?
I think so. Like I think they kept it quiet, and I think he gets the with, maybe. Or is it no? Rami Malek gets the with, and Branagh gets the and. But he's in the first couple of names.
Like, I wonder, was this a Matt Damon throwing him a bone kind of thing?
Possibly. But he's in Interstellar. Don't forget.
Oh yeah.
Nolan's worked with him before. Like his run of films up to winning his Oscar were very mainstream. He was in Jesse James, the Ocean's movies, Jesse James, Gone Baby Gone, Tower Heist, Out of the Furnace, Interstellar. The Finest Hours, 999, Manchester by the Sea. Like, he's doing studio films and supporting roles. I think he's pretty good in Interstellar. He's only in, like, 2 scenes. He plays
old Timothy
Chalamet.
Yeah, it's
and
funny.
His main thing is that Chastain is the sister. Obviously, she comes and visits. His kids are all dying of tuberculosis from the smog.
Yeah.
And Jessica Chastain is like, your kids are sick. And he's like, go away, leave us alone, fuck off. Like, that's his kind of character.
He's just like, our dad's dead, please leave me alone.
Yeah,
kind of
but
thing.
he's good. And he's in the little video reel that McConaughey sobs watching, where it cuts from Chalamet to Casey Affleck being like, fuck off, dad, or whatever. So he's good in that. So Nolan's worked with him before. Very good use of him in Oppenheimer, but also like a good use of him where like you can get away with putting him in it and no one is like, you're working with the terrible Casey Affleck. Like, I feel like nobody reacted to him being in it in that way, even though there were very valid reasons to get mad at someone for employing Casey Affleck. Nobody was like, how dare they put Casey Affleck in this movie? It's kind of like, well, they cast him as a piece of shit. He's in it for 3 minutes. They didn't put him on the poster.
Probably didn't get paid a lot.
He probably didn't get paid a lot. Let's just let it slide. And it is a really good performance. And then his next movie after that is The Instigators. And then he's about to be in something called Slingshot, which looks like a fucking Redbox movie with Lawrence Fishburne set in space. So the man's career is kind of on life support, whether that's by design, like maybe he has been just trying to keep his head down.
He is kind of a low energy guy.
He's a low energy guy, but like if he did an Instigators every 2 years, he could remain an A-lister, or like, you know, let's say he did a TV show where he did a similar performance to this. Folks, we're half an eye on the Olympics closing ceremony to see what Mr.
Yeah,
Cruz
I'm trying to figure
out
who that band is.
That is. It looks like. Oh, it's Phoenix, is it?
Probably.
I think it's Phoenix.
Phoenix. Ah, yes.
Big opportunity for Phoenix if they're performing at the closing ceremony.
Are they French?
Phoenix are French, yeah. And Mr. Phoenix is married to Sofia Coppola.
Everyone's married to a Coppola.
I know, everyone's married to a Coppola.
Ugh.
Is there any? So Casey Affleck, guys, we also established was married to Joaquin Phoenix's sister.
Are they in the Coppola line somewhere?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. If he's married, let's see how long does it take to get. He's married to Summer Phoenix. Summer Phoenix is the sister of Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix is married to Rooney Mara. I guess that kind of stops there. Well, Rooney Mara's sister is Kate Mara. You get to Jamie Bell through her, but that doesn't really achieve much.
No.
Is there any way to get to them through this? I don't know. One of the other Phoenixes.
This is something we should have prepped beforehand.
Yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out. Anyway, but Casey Affleck's fun in this movie. I don't know. I guess it feels like a little mini comeback to me, but maybe that won't prove to be the case because the film is not hitting. But like, I'm not going to speak as to whether Casey Affleck deserves a comeback or not. But in terms of his internal logic, I think this is a fun, decently pitched performance for him that if I saw this and I was in the business of casting big movies, I would go, oh yeah, like we could put Casey Affleck in a movie as the first or second lead. He's an Oscar winner, and he adds a lot of value, I think, to this movie in terms of like he's giving a really good performance. He's a better dramatic actor than Matt Damon. I think he sells the scenario better than Matt Damon does.
I think so too.
And he sells the desperation. He sells the exasperation. I think Matt Damon is a fun star, but he doesn't necessarily play all those beats quite as specific.
No, I don't think this functions without the kind of two of them operating as they do.
Yeah.
Like,
how would you feel about Ben in this role instead of Casey? Because Ben can do the kind of. I think he would have worked in this.
It would have worked. Yeah,
I think so. I think Matt and Ben has always worked together, but
I think Matt Damon is doing a weird kind of like I'm a bit stupid performance.
Yeah, he's doing an accent. He's doing his fucking departed Boston accent, which already kind of adds a layer of like, oh, what are you doing, buddy? This isn't how you talk. Like, he's a man who shouldn't do accents.
But he's doing his Good Will Hunting accent, like.
I guess that is his Good Will Hunting accent, but he's 18 in that or whatever. Like, he's
from Boston. It's second nature to him this stage, I'd imagine, doing that accent.
Is he from Boston?
Is he not?
Cambridge, Massachusetts. Okay. That explains a lot.
It's within the state.
It's within the state, but he's like a little bit of an outsider. Like, compared to the Afflecks are like real Boston. Like, it's a DJ man on screen.
DJ man. Which of the French DJ men is it?
I think that could be David Guetta.
I think it's Mr. Memory himself.
You think it? Oh, wait.
I think so. He's moving like... I think his movements are...
I think his movements are very distinct. Taking too long to reveal.
A little bit.
Back to the Instigators.
Please put the Olympics closing ceremony to timestamp 2 hours, 34 minutes, and 16 seconds to watch along with us. No?
Is that it? No, that's someone older. Unless he's gotten like a really dramatic haircut.
Yeah.
He's wearing these stupid Screenslaver Incredibles 2 glasses. You can't see.
They're red. Okay, he's been revealed slightly more.
Oh, we can just unmute it.
Is this just Mr. Phoenix still?
That is not David Guetta. That is like a different DJ man.
All right, back to the film.
Sorry. But yeah, like I think that Matt Damon has to work harder to make the blue collar working class thing believable than the Afflecks do. The Afflecks are the most resentful men you've ever seen in your entire life. Ben more so, but like these are guys who are so mad that they were born in Boston into a working class family.
Like Ben and Casey Affleck belong in that video from around COVID time when the guy walks past the bar in Boston and they're like, "Fuck you, asshole."
Exactly, they're real Boston alcoholic vibes. Matt Damon, to me, seems like a guy who spends his summers in Dalkey with his nice wife and kids.
Yeah.
He's kind of lost his whatever working class thing he ever had, which I'm not sure he ever was that guy.
Ben Affleck just likes getting with Jennifer Lopez and getting divorced every now and again.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a real scumbum in a beautiful, honorable way.
Oh, he's the best of them.
Casey's the bad version of that. Casey's the one who like harms people. Ben's the fun version. I do prefer, like, I know that the in 2011 to 2017, the cool person's thing was always, oh man, it's probably before that. Oh, Casey Affleck's the real talent in the family. You know, Ben's the handsome one. Casey's the real talent. And I have never agreed. I have always thought they are both excellent actors, but that there is absolutely nothing Casey can do that Ben couldn't probably do if he put his mind to it as well. And Casey, let me tell you folks, after watching I'm Not There, Casey is nowhere near as good of a director as Ben is. And Ben's not that amazing a director, but Ben has made 3 to 4 functional films.
Ben Affleck seems like someone who would really, really take advice when it comes to directing.
Yeah, exactly. He would sit down with the greats and be like,
just tell me what to do here.
Tell me what to do. I'll write that down. And Casey is like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get my brother-in-law and we're going to give him a beard and make this fucking annoying documentary about how he's going to become a rapper. I, of course, watched that half because we were going to talk about Casey Affleck in the podcast, and then half because Joaquin Phoenix has sort of been exposed as a dickhead this weekend for pulling out of this Todd Haynes LGBT drama. And the producers are sort of saying, yep, it's true. He's being annoying. And it seems like a lot of people are going to be out of work because of him not wanting to do a gay movie at the last minute. Meanwhile,
the way you phrase it, he doesn't want to do it. It sounds like he doesn't want to do it because it's a gay movie.
That seems to be the situation. The situation seems to be that he got cold feet about the gay sex scenes at the last second and pulled out of the movie. This is what the reports are saying.
Right.
And the producer of the film is speaking out, and she's not denying this fact. The man is about to start on a 2-month press cycle for a little film called Joker Folie à Deux, which we will never discuss in this podcast. And he's going to have to answer a lot of questions about, were you willing to do a Joker sequel for $25 million but not star the Todd Haynes gay drama with the explicit gay sex scenes? Because I think
is he doing this as part of the Joker news cycle?
Yeah, the whole thing was just to promote Joker.
Yeah,
the insecure.
We're getting the incels going.
Incel shit, yeah. This is still Phoenix. Anyway, speaking of Phoenix, Joaquin Phoenix, the band Phoenix, the Coppolas. Okay, enough about Casey Affleck. Matt Damon is going to come up a lot on this podcast, probably, if it goes on for 100 million
He has a lot of friends who he likes to hang out with and make movies.
We're definitely going to do Contagion. We're definitely going to do The Last Duel. So you'll be hearing more about him soon, so we don't need to dwell on him too much. But he is one of the great American movie stars. Sorry, final thing. Casey Affleck also co-wrote this film with Chuck McLean, which maybe explains why his character is very well fleshed out.
Yeah.
Matt Damon, one of the great American movie stars, someone I used to think was really boring, and now I'm come around on him completely. And I'm like, yeah, I'd kind of watch Matt Damon do anything, because he's so boring that he actually is super interesting. And I feel like that's not the case.
Because he has to make himself interesting by doing little things.
Yeah, he always has to have a thing going on. Whereas
he also just fucking gives the socks and everything.
Yeah, he does.
Like, he's really into it.
I just think DiCaprio, Clooney, and Pitt are all guilty of lazy reliance on their inherent charisma to get through a movie.
Yeah.
Clooney does it in everything he directs. He does it in all his romantic comedies. And Pitt does it in his bad stuff. And by God, DiCaprio does it in basically everything. And I think that Damon is like, knows that he doesn't have those guys' their level
he's got that slight Massachusetts guy inferiority complex, like, and it's good.
Like, his last 5 movies is a fucking incredible run.
Yeah.
The Last Duel, which I know you haven't seen yet, but he plays a French knight. He does a French accent. He is phenomenal in it. Then he's in Air, which is terrific, which he like writes and produces.
Yep.
Then he's in Oppenheimer, which he's fantastic in, as Groves. Then he's in, you bet you forgot this one, Drive Away Dolls as the senator. Whose penis plaster cast gets stolen, and that's the whole plot of the movie. And then he plays Sonny the Sunflower in If, my favorite performance of 2024.
Just an all-time run.
And then his next credit after The Instigators is that he's the executive producer of the new Irish film, Small Things Like These, starring Cillian Murphy, based on the Claire Keegan novel. So he's killing it. And then he's producing The Accountant 2, and he's going to be in some upcoming sports movie called Unstoppable. No, he's not in that. Never mind.
That's a good movie, sports movie.
Yeah, he's not in that. He's producing that.
Oh, I really hope he also plays an accountant from like a rival firm.
Yes, that would be good. In The Accountant 2. No, he's not in The Accountant 2. He's just producing The Accountant 2. Is there any cast announced for The Accountant 2? They're all coming back. J.K. Simmons, John Bernthal.
Ugh.
And there's a new female.
John Bernthal died.
There's a new woman, Cynthia Adai Robinson.
So Anna Kendrick's not coming back?
No, this sounds really boring.
A little bit.
Same director and writer though. Anyway, Matt Damon. Anyway, like on one of the great runs, I think he's doing really good stuff. Honestly, like the Drive Away Dolls role kind of tells you all you need to know about where his confidence levels are at right now.
Oh, absolutely.
He would not have done that in 2013.
No,
this is like him being like, fuck it, like put me in whatever you want. Like, and like, am I right in saying he's never been in an actual Coen Brothers movie? I don't think he has. Unless I'm forgetting something.
He doesn't pop up in Hail Caesar or something.
Oh, True Grit. Okay.
True Grit.
Yes, he's in True Grit. He's not great in True Grit. I think True Grit's a bit weak. I mean, I'm looking at his career here, and I'm like, the man has a banger every year, pretty much. I mean, if we work backwards, Ford v Ferrari, I have no real interest in. But, you know, he's in, and Suburbicon was obviously written by the Coens, directed by Clooney. Downsizing's not great. The Great Wall is a disaster. And Jason Bourne was a terrible choice to go back to that role. Those are all bad. But he produces Manchester by the Sea, considered directing it, considered starring in it. Casey ends up starring in it. Casey's great in it, obviously. The Martian, massive hit. Interstellar, he's really great in. I mean, I think the part of Interstellar that he shows up in is my least favorite part of the movie, but it's not because of his performance. I think his performance is excellent.
He's a great presence to show up.
He's
in your film,
a great surprise. I had no idea he was in it. Like, really? That was a great... that was like going to see Interstellar opening day, and there's secretly Matt Damon is like the 6th or 7th.
Yeah, like your big surprise. Character reveal an hour and a half into your 2.5 hour film, like really kind of makes breaks it. Like,
and Matt Damon does that in a couple of things where he sort of shows up and makes them interesting. Like, he is in The Monuments Men, which is terrible. He's in Elysium, which is like a complete nothing Neil Blomkamp sci-fi movie where he's bald. He's pretty good in Behind the Candelabra, which is the Soderbergh's Liberace biopic where he plays Liberace's younger male lover, which is a fun movie.
That's pretty fun.
He's in this movie Promised Land with John Krasinski and Frances McDormand, which is about fracking, which is like a good, like, you know, I like movies where a guy has to investigate that the water has something wrong with it.
Exactly.
Like, it's one of those, like, he's not quite as good as...
What's the one we always talk about?
Ruffalo Dark Waters.
Dark Waters.
He's not quite as good as that, but it's a good performance. Before that, you got We Bought a Zoo, Margaret, Contagion, The Adjustment Bureau. You got True Grit. You got Green Zone, Invictus, The Informant, The Bournes, The Oceans, The Good Shepherd, The Departed, Syriana. Like,
he really never had like a lull there.
Not really. The worst lull. The worst lull
for 25, 30 years.
Yeah, The Great Wall, downsizing Suburbicon.
Sure,
that's the lull. But he bounced back so big.
Like, was that a?
That's a great career. Great movie.
Was that kind of a lull period for all the movie stars.
The sort of 2017, 2018? I guess so. I mean, you're getting a lot of The Rock in that period.
Because this is the kind of Cruise flop era.
Flop era. The Rock is making a lot of big movies. I mean, what are the big movies of 2017, 2016?
What's DiCaprio in around then?
2016, 2017. I don't even know what DiCaprio's in. This is
Revenant country.
Revenant country, yeah. Okay. So yeah, like Revenant's a massive hit, $500 million for The Revenant.
Brad Pitt's kind of on slide here.
Brad Pitt's sort of doing your God, I wish I had all these things open in front of me. What's Brad Pitt in?
Ad Astra kind of gets him back. Ad
Astra's after this.
Yeah, but that kind of gets him back at the
years I'm thinking of are 15 to 17. I mean, honestly, Brad Pitt is in like fucking what do you call it, with the wife with
herself,
By the Sea, which Jolie directs, and he's in with her, which is such a bomb. No one's seen that. I hope I'm not forgetting some like low-key Brad Pitt Oscar nomination these years. He's in War Machine, he's in Fury.
They're Netflix I know. Nonsense.
Yeah, so no, it is a bit of a lull. You're right, all the like handsome men kind of have a lull around this time. Clooney certainly does. The Monuments Men is like the definition of a lull. Around this time, you're getting more The Rock, and you're getting more like
this kind of peak Marvel time.
Marvel time, and honestly, like Bradley Cooper and Chris Pratt are kind of having their little ascensions. Like American Sniper. That's the biggest movie star movie of 2014 to 2016. Yes. Like, so yeah, I think Matt Damon is a great movie star, and I have grown to have a huge affection for him, and I think that he is a really funny guy. He has an Oscar. He won his Oscar in, 1997. What age was he in 1997, actually, out of interest? He was 27 years old. So I am about to be the age that Matt Damon was when he won his Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for Good Will Hunting. He was nominated for Best Actor that year as well. He was nominated again in 2009 for Invictus, for The Martian in 2015, and then he was nominated for producing Manchester by the Sea in 2016. A shocking amount, or shocking lack of Oscar nominations as an actor for someone who is in prestige films every year or two. And
where do you think is most egregious?
I don't know. I mean,
he could have been there for Oppenheimer if they weren't so loaded.
It's weird that Stillwater didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because it came out in the middle of COVID, and that was a really quiet year. And I sort of don't see any excuse why he couldn't have gotten a Best Actor nomination for Stillwater. I don't think it's an amazing film, but it's an Oscar bait role. I don't know. Like The Martian getting the nomination is a bit silly. I don't think he deserves a nomination for that. I would nominate him for Best Supporting Actor for Contagion. I would probably nominate him for Oppenheimer, and then I don't know. I guess True Grit. It wouldn't have killed him to nominate him for True Grit. But, he nominated for BAFTA as well for Behind the Candelabra. I guess that's another one. And he was nominated for an Emmy for 30 Rock. He's in a lot of 30 Rock as well. And he won a Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Comedy for The Martian. And then he was nominated for Air for Best Actor in a Comedy.
Oh, good.
So,
should we...
What?
I was just going to say, should we talk about the film a little bit here?
Yeah, we should talk about the film a little bit here.
Yeah.
So, tell us the premise.
Matt Damon is seemingly an ex-military vet. Veteran, not veterinarian.
I assume so.
Which kind of doesn't say a lot because he's kind of an incompetent character who seems uncomfortable holding a gun. So I'm not sure what the whole thing. He's a mechanic in the army. Anyway, he needs $32,485 for.
Well done. That's the right number.
Is it 85 or is it 80?
Something like that.
420.
Pay off his debt.
It's around that. To pay off his like child support that hasn't been paid.
Yeah, and all his kids' stuff needs to get paid off.
Yeah, his whole thing is he just wants to see his kid and he needs to pay some money.
Yeah.
And he's sitting in with his therapist, Chau, and he's like, a year ago, I said I'd give myself a year to sort this out, or else I think what's implied is I'm just going to like kill myself.
I think he says it.
Yeah. And she's like, have you tried everything? And he's like, no, I haven't tried everything. So does he organize the robbery, or does he just call Casey Affleck?
He gets in whatever. He gets in a room with Michael Stuhlbarg and Alfred Molina.
Yeah.
And they're
kind of mob bosses.
They're operating a second tier boy party in this movie. And hilariously, we're going to run out of time to talk about either of them. But anyway, they're the two mob boys, sexy old mob boys, and they're like
having a good time.
They're having a good time, and they're like, we have a job for you to rob the mayor. I love when them things involve
because the mayor, Democratic mayor Ron Perlman, is kind of corrupt and hosts these big parties where the drinks are $100 cash only, and this is his way of getting lots of unrecorded cash in his books, which he all keeps in one single safe in his office.
And it's kept there overnight before it gets picked up.
Yeah.
Matt Damon says, hey, have you considered that maybe he might not win the election? This other guy might win.
Yeah.
And Michael Stuhlbarg says, well, that's not going to happen. They show up to do the robbery, and of course it has happened. Choi has won. This young Asian guy.
I don't know who plays him.
Doesn't matter. His name's
yeah, so Ron Perlman and all his cash is gone. So they attempt a robbery with Jack Harlow for some reason.
Yeah. Jack Harlow, bit of stunt casting. I'm not a fan of it.
No, not at all.
He gets shot and killed.
It trivializes the entire film.
Exactly.
It's just
He's the only bad name in the cast. He gets shot and killed. That's fine. They go on the run with
no winnings or no money.
No money. And basically Matt Damon goes Casey gets shot and Matt Damon only knows one doctor who can take out the bullet, and it's his therapist, Hong Chau. They go to Hong Chau. She won't help them because she doesn't want to be implicated in the whole crime. Matt Damon says, what if I take you hostage with your consent? And then there's like a basically funny banter with three boys because Hong Chau is like going along with them voluntarily.
But she's setting out all the terms for it to be a real thing.
She really doesn't want Matt Damon to kill himself.
Yeah.
So she's trying her best to support him as a patient, to be nice to him, and is just like,
I'll go along with
encouraging him, but is finding Casey Affleck pretty insufferable because Casey Affleck just keeps flirting with her.
Sorry, the other key plot point here is when they do rob the mayor, they get his bracelet, which has the combination to his other like real safe.
So he needs his bracelet back. So he sends the great Ving Rhames after them.
Well, he sends someone else first.
Well, he sends Paul Walter Hauser.
He sends Paul Walter Hauser
first, yes.
Booch.
Yes, as Booch. And Paul Walter Hauser, what happens to him? I don't know. He just...
Oh, he like gets blown up in the house.
Yes.
There's
knocked over.
There's a recurring theme here of things getting blown up with
gas in a house.
Gas explosions.
Yeah. And then...
Paul Walter Hauser looks incredibly young in this.
He does. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
Well... We've erected a poster of him in our home, so we're looking at him every day.
It is the largest poster in our house.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Richard Jewell, 2019. Paul Walter Hauser, very funny in his scenes. Very funny. Always great, just an incredible physical actor. And then the big VR shows up, Ving himself. Ving, whether you're winning.
He walks into the shot, he says his words, and he walks out.
He goes, "Hey, I'm here. My name is Freck Toomey." Just one of our greatest.
Ethan, you gotta give him the bracelet.
Yeah, one of our greatest monotone voices. Give him the bracelet, Ethan. You gotta do it. He's just great. He's great in this.
A man who I have a new rekindled fondness for, having seen him in Bringing Out the Dead.
Oh, he's so good in Bringing Out the Dead. Oh, great. So then Stuhlbarg and Molina get sidelined a little annoyingly, and I feel like stuff's been cut out because they basically just get shafted off to a cabin in the woods. And I was briefly very enthused at the thought that maybe a romance would flourish between these two men, because they both seemed like perfectly reasonable characters.
And they're always giving each other kind of soft eyes and telling each other to calm down.
These are two actors who are great at playing a little bit of homoeroticism in their performances.
Yeah.
Nothing between them. Stuhlbarg's just kind of pacing around. Like, what a weird person to cast in this role as well. Stuhlbarg is many things. He is not known to do like goofy slapstick comedy very well.
I think this is why I like it, because they actually give him a bit of not life, but they give him a bit of
an accent, and he's wearing this like fucking massive like Warren Beatty fur coat, and he's like,
"Where the fuck is my money?
Yeah, where's my money? It's freezing." And Alfred Molina's like, calm down. Alfred Molina, so overqualified to be in this part. Yeah. Very weird. They should have swapped roles. He's not famous enough to be, or he's too famous to be in this tiny role. So there's like 3 or 4 things. Sorry, Ron Perlman is hanging out. He's the mayor, and his chief of staff guy is little snivelly Toby Jones, who I also love. So you've got like,
who's kind of the exact opposite face of Ron Perlman.
Yes, exactly. So you've got like 3 and Ron Perlman very much doing a similar thing to what he did in Mr. and Mrs. Smith this year, which was great.
Yeah.
3 fun threads going on here. You got the boys in the cabin, you got the 3 leads, and
the boys in the cabin isn't really thread, but in theory,
and then you've got Toby Jones and Ron Perlman. Now I think Hong Chau is a little bit underused in this, but she is very good. I'm a big fan of hers. I really, funnily enough, didn't like her in Downsizing with Matt Damon. That performance rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, because she's basically just doing like a deliberately insane Chinese accent the whole film that is like intentionally over the top and grating. And I had to see her in a few other things. Like I saw her in Watchmen. I wasn't that blown away. And then I honestly thought she was just fantastic in The Whale. And The Whale is a film so bad that the two people in The Whale who are actually giving good performances, her and Samantha Morton, really stand out. And you're like, oh, you are dragging this film to shore, like The Whale that it is.
Mm-hmm.
And Hong Chau is really good in The Whale. And then I thought she was really good in The Menu. And then I thought she was really good in Kinds of Kindness, honestly, which a film I really disliked. Thought she was excellent in it. She was also in Asteroid City. Oh, and sorry, I'm forgetting. I literally gave her my Golden Boy Award for Best Supporting Actress for showing up.
Oh, very good.
I forgot that happened.
Yes.
One of my favorite performances of last year. So I am Hong Chau pilled, you might say. I'd also like to clarify that I think that character that she plays in Downsizing was actually Vietnamese. Apologies. I'm Hong Chau pilled now, and I think she's great. And I will kind of watch her in anything. And she's like an interesting presence. She's like a fun character actress that you don't usually get. I'm like, I don't think there were that many 45-year-old actresses around.
Oh, she's that old.
Like, 45-year-old woman of color is like playing kind of fun comedy roles opposite Boston guys in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
And she's not being put in there as like complete comedian, like female comedy performance, or as like glamorous love interest role. It's kind of like a good,
she's just like kind of solid presence.
Yeah, solid professional presence, and like that's
she's great. Yeah.
That's an odd role for an actress.
And she's not she's not someone that comes from an explicitly comedic background.
No, not at all. And it's not an explicitly comedic role either. She's just good at the banter. Like.
Yeah.
So big fan of hers. Really like her in this. And yeah, that's the movie. I guess it kind of just there's a car chase. There's a few car chases. There's a siege at the mayor's office
at the city
with snipers.
Council.
Pointing guns at them. Like, I just thought it was fun and short and snappy, and like it moved, and I thought the score was fun.
It's quite funny,
100 minutes long.
Lack of quotable moments, but it's like
it's got funny action beats in it.
Yeah, like the guys
spinning around
have really pretty good sense of timing. Yeah, and just the way, like they're not saying anything.
No,
particularly.
We watched it with Christina, who really does not enjoy action comedies, and I feel like she enjoyed it more than probably usually would. Not to put words in her mouth. But it's like 100 minutes, and like I didn't feel like it dragged at all.
Yeah, it's got a nice quality where like the characters in it also wanted to be over.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's it's sprinting for the ending. Like
yeah,
and like every scene features at least two people that we really like. So
yes,
it's a very strong case of you get what you pay for.
Like if this was exclusively the two guys for 90 minutes,
and a bunch of randomers, we might struggle.
Not even much random, but if it didn't pivot to the other guys every now and again,
it was always just the two of them. Yeah. Like I think you get what you pay for with some of these character actors, and like it doesn't cost that much to get Hong Chau, Walter Hauser, Michael Stuhlbarg, Ving Rhames. None of these people,
5 million will wrap them all up.
5 million, you're getting all those people.
Like, Apple has all the money in the world.
Yeah, to push your budget, the budget of this, God knows what it is.
Probably
I think
60.
I'm guessing
it's got a fair bit of action and like big sprinkler scenes and
it is
dodgy fire CGI. A few things blow up.
No one's got the budget anywhere. I'm gonna guess 60, and if your budget goes from 60 up to 65, and you have it's saying 70 somewhere here, and you get those great actors in the supporting cast.
Are Apple good for releasing budget? Is it
not the slightest?
But is it a requirement to release budget figures?
No, not at all.
It's just kind of
no one knows
done.
It's the thing that gets leaked. Like,
oh, okay.
It
does have that kind of burn after reading ending where it's like,
yes, well, that was all fucking stupid.
Yeah, a little bit, and they don't really. He gets his money, I guess. Matt Damon gets to see his.
I found the level of cynicism in it to be not too much and not too little.
Yeah, they kind of get arrested and then they're let off because the new mayor that got elected, the not corrupt guy, is just kind of like, I'm going to keep this money and not press charges on these guys. It's,
and then you know what Matt Damon's highest grossing film at the box office is?
Ooh.
Do you know what Casey Affleck's highest grossing film at the box office is?
Is Casey Affleck's Tower Heist?
Oppenheimer is both of their highest grossing films.
I feel like I was excluding
Number 2 for Damon is The Martian. Number 3 is Interstellar. Number 2 for Casey is Interstellar.
Yeah.
Followed by Oceans 11, 12, and 13 for both of them. They're in a lot of stuff together.
They really are.
And then for Damon, you've also got Saving Private Ryan, The Bournes, The Great Wall, The Departed, Elysium, True Grit. For Casey, you've got American Pie 2, American Pie 1, Good Will Hunting, Tower Heist. Tower Heist, 150 million.
Oh, I thought that meant a sneaky 300. Like
no, like less than Good Will Hunting did. Like,
all right.
No box office for this movie because it went straight to streaming and only came out day before yesterday. We will do a new segment instead that I have invented, which is called
And we did actually invent this one.
We did invent this. This one's called the Keywords Game. So it's a box office themed game. Basically, the numbers, the box office website we use gives you a series of keywords for every movie and lets you see the highest grossing films with this keyword. So for the Instigators, I'm clicking on movies about therapists / therapy. And I'm going to change to guess the top 5 highest grossing films about therapists / therapy. This is a loose
and like
keyword.
How
this is Lucien. Yeah.
Loosey goosey.
Okay,
keyword.
It's very loose.
What are the highest?
Okay, you're gonna get. You'll get 1 or 2 of these.
Is something like Inside Out up there?
Nope.
No.
But something like it.
Animated.
I haven't seen this. It is a slop.
Animated
slop. Number 1, a therapy movie. Let me tell you this. An emotion from Inside Out is referenced in the title of the movie.
Sadness.
No. I'm not going to tell you the specific one.
Joy.
I'm not going to tell you the specific one.
Okay.
It is based on an IP.
Mm-hmm.
This is an animated movie based on a popular IP. No, based on a popular cultural IP.
Right.
Not another movie, but a thing in culture. The title references that and features an emotion, which is probably explored in the movie, which is probably why it is a therapy movie. Okay.
So this is
That's going to wreck your brain.
Animated kids film.
Animated slop, yeah.
Animated slop.
Yeah.
How much money did it make?
$352 million.
Oh, okay. We're not up in like the...
No, but there's a sequel. But it is slop. Will I tell you the voice actors? I may as well.
Is it Pixar?
No, it's slop. I've told you.
Oh,
SLOP, slop.
Okay.
This film features the voices of Jason Sudeikis, Josh Gad, Danny McBride, and then, because it's an animated movie, Maya Rudolph, Kate McKinnon, Tony Hale, Keegan-Michael Key, Bill Hader. Boring. And then, weirdly, Sean Penn.
Okay, so it's not like Redbox straight streaming slop.
No, it is a $350 million movie. They don't put Redbox movies don't get $350 million.
Yeah, sure.
It's based on a very big IP. A huge this game might take like 25 minutes now, realizing.
What year? Give me a year.
2016.
2016.
Okay, I'll tell you what the IP is. The thing on your phone.
Angry Birds the movie.
The Angry Birds movie.
Wait, really?
Yes. Therapy. Angry Birds movie. They probably have to get their anger out, Okay, number 2, therapy movie.
Oh, Jesus.
This one is, I'll give you some clues. This one is an Oscar-winning horror from the last decade.
Last decade?
Yeah.
Oh.
Spooky horror, Oscar-winning, critically acclaimed film. Big director.
Shape of Water.
No. Horror.
I thought that was
spooky. No. Spooky, scary.
Did it win Best Picture?
No, it's nominated for Best Picture. The same year as The Shape of Water.
It's 2017.
Yeah. Great director. We like this director. His first movie.
A spooky first film.
Yeah. There's a bit of hypnosis sort of stuff in it. That's why it's therapy, I guess.
I'm struggling.
All right. The movie is Get Out. Number 3, a movie that's been mentioned multiple times on this episode.
Therapy film.
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting.
Correct. Yeah. Number 4 is, you're not going to get these next 2, I'm going to tell you. Number 4 is Hot Shots. And number 5 is the Meryl Streep, Steve Carell movie, Hope Springs.
Okay.
This is a crazy list. Okay. There's your therapy movies, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the keywords game.
Yeah.
Now, Shane's going to do the credits game.
I'm going to do the credits game.
Cast list game.
Okay.
Shane's going to read from bottom to top the cast list of a film starring one of these 2 boys, according to Letterboxd, and see how fast I can guess the film.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give me I've never done this game before. I've never been on this side of it, so don't give me the year.
I mean, not.
No, I don't think so. Don't give me the year.
Oh, I'm still looking at Brad Pitt's Letterboxd.
Get out. No year. I wanna do this one raw.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let me have a little look.
Mm-hmm.
Little looky
Lot
here.
to choose from here. Be funny if you just went with Oppenheimer.
It would be funny.
It'd be like Josh Peck,
Devin Bostick,
David Krumholtz.
All right.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that you listed every single film Matt Damon has been in recently on this podcast already. It's normally the way you do it.
Yeah, but there's some I didn't mention from like years ago.
All right.
There's some early 2000s ones I didn't go near.
All right.
Not to help you out, but
okay.
There's definitely gaps. You got one?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a go.
Hank Azaria.
Right.
Keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Magda Subansky.
Yeah. Keep going.
Maeve Campbell.
Okay.
She's someone you know.
Maeve Campbell.
Maeve?
No.
No.
Don't know any
Not
Maeve
Irish.
Campbells. No.
I thought that was like an Irish actress.
Sounds Irish, but I don't know her.
Yeah, it's spelled Maibh. So,
Yeah, okay.
anyway. Benjamin Flores Jr.
No.
Ava Akers.
Mm-mm.
Jeffrey Garcia.
Mm-mm.
Carlos Alazraqui.
Mm-mm.
Matt Damon.
Is there more to come?
Oh, loads.
Okay, keep going.
Brad Pitt.
Okay, I got a guess.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Feet 2.
It's Happy Feet 2.
Excellent. Brad Pitt and Matt Damon play Will and Bill the Gay Krill.
Okay.
They play Gay Krill in that film.
Gay Krill.
A film by George Miller.
Yes.
A very depressing movie I don't like.
If I skipped Brad Pitt there, would you have taken a lot longer to...
No, I started to think that Hank Azaria being last suggested it was animated, and then your one Magda is from Babe Pig in the City.
Right.
So the George Miller
Miller connection, yeah.
I think you would have jumped Brad Pitt and you would have gone to like Pink or...
It would have gone Hugo Weaving. Common, Sofia Vergara.
Basically, yeah.
Lombardo Boyer.
And then Pink is in there somewhere.
Johnny A. Sanchez. Elizabeth Daly.
Yeah. Robin Williams.
Pink, Robin Williams,
Elijah Wood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman not in that one. That's funny. Hugh Jackman and Nicole Kidman are in
was that a poor choice? Should have gone with something.
No, it was a good choice in that I hadn't mentioned it.
Yeah.
Took me a few minutes. All right. That's it, everybody. We hit 50 minutes on this episode about a movie no one has watched.
I did reveal it was Matt Damon very early on. Is that the wrong way to do it?
That's how I always do it, though.
Really?
Yeah, I always
thought you don't know.
No, I say the person's name when it appears.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Because it sometimes throws you off if they're far down the list.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Like Hamlet. Remember?
Yes.
Thanks with Jack Lemmon. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah, go watch The Instigators.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's going to listen to this episode.
I don't think anyone's got anything better.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back next week to discuss a real movie that people like and have seen. You can visit boypartypod.com. You can follow Boy Party Pod on Instagram and Twitter. We do not condone the personal behavior of Casey Affleck by covering him on the podcast.
No.
Next week, Kevin Spacey stars in the... If we did our Johnny Depp Armie Hammer, we've crossed that bridge.
I feel like this went on for like an hour and 10 minutes.
This episode?
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. Bye. 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 Robert. Mayor.